Okay, I guess I have to give this tip again because of an email I received about a passenger who received a phone bill from a 10-day cruise that was $900. I'll give the tip again. So if you out there have watched any tip videos on cruising, you know one of the biggest tips out there is to immediately put your phone on airplane mode because you're leaving your country. Unless you have complete international calling plan, which is very expensive, trust me, I know, you're going to be charged. And not only that, when you're in the ocean, anywhere away from landmass, those cell phones now hit the satellites, which are not part of any phone plan anywhere in the world, including international phone plans. Those are the satellite charges that immediately go to your phone. So there's no phone plan. If you're in the ocean and you're making a call on a wireless, it's going to cost you. Now, if you're doing it through the internet, through the Wi-Fi system on the ship, that's different. You still have your phone on flight mode. But I got a message from somebody who was on a 10-day cruise down to Brazil, leaving from Florida. And they said to me that, you know, I got home and I had a $900 phone bill. And I don't understand it because I bought the plan for Brazil. I bought an extra plan so I can make calls in Brazil. And I live in the United States, so I had both plans. I said, well, I wanted to say, I did not say this, I wanted to say, so did you teleport to Brazil? Because you have to travel that distance. You're passing the Caribbean, you're passing Mexico, you're going a long way to get to Brazil from the United States where they were sailing from. And I said, I had to tell him, I said, you know that's great. As long as your phone was on airplane mode that whole trip, except in Brazil and except in the United States, you would have had no extra costs. But they kept it on the entire trip, thinking that because they bought a phone plan for Brazil, their destination, that would cover the entire trip. Now, I know a lot of people right now are thinking, wow, they're just very naive and don't know what's going on. You know, a lot of people don't understand phones. I don't understand phones. I don't understand airline rules. I don't understand a lot of things out there. But the one thing I do know, that saving my money is a top priority whenever I can. And the easiest thing to do is to immediately put your phone on airplane mode. Now, when I go to a cruise port, because of my plan, I have a solid plan for a day that I buy that's on my phone all the time. That when I'm in a foreign port, you know, depending on the port, it's no good in Africa, but it's good in Europe, it's good in North America, it's good in South America, it's good up in Alaska, it's good everywhere, that I would get no roaming charges and I get a certain amount of data automatically at one price per day. So I know what it's going to cost me when I take my phone off and I need to make some calls. That's not an issue. If you're doing a lot of traveling like that, that would be the plan to get on. And many phone companies out there will have a temporary plan saying that, okay, only when you use it, you will be charged that money. And you can just sign up for it. It doesn't cost you anything extra on your phone bill. So I would also look into that. That's kind of the plan that I have. I have a lot of international calling, but in certain countries, I have If I land there, I use my phone, I get a 1-day charge. Not roaming charges, not all that other stuff. And even then, my phone is not on in the middle of the ocean because those satellites will pick up that signal. And like I said, that's not part of any phone plan. It will immediately start charging satellite rates on your phone. So whatever you do, whenever you're leaving a cruise port, please, please, please have your phone on airplane mode, especially with your children. Your children, many people's children have phones that they'll watch TikTok on for hours and hours, which is great if it's hooked up to the internet. But if they haven't hooked up to the Wi-Fi on the ship, that's using the satellite system now, and that's going to cost you a fortune on your phone bill. So whatever you do, please be aware of all that different situation. This person thought they were covered, but really didn't think it through, right? I got a plan in Brazil, I got a plan in America, I should be good. Well, what about Mexico? What about the Caribbean? Etc., etc., etc. You didn't have a plan for there. And that's why they ended up with $900 US extra on their phone bills. And they're looking for somebody to give it back to them. And they're not. The phone bills, sometimes they'll reduce it, but many times, depending on what you were doing on the ship, they're not going to refund you at all. So in this case, it's kind of like, you know what? It's kind of like buyer beware. And always put that phone on airplane mode, please.